we all know that you are a good batsman as well. So do you think, what do you have to say about the impact play rule? And do you think that the impact play rule have have hampered your chances of playing in the IPL?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's hampered my chance necessarily. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't. I think it takes a lot of skill out of the game. I think if you can just bat to 9 or 10, like you don't have to have the same sort of batsmanship that you probably once had to have. I think there's something to be said around, especially all rounders, guys that can bowl and bat and offer balance to a team that way. And it does, in a way, take a little bit of that skill out of the game. So, yeah, you don't see too many other places around the world or international cricket that has that impact player rule, and it's probably for a good reason. So, I think whilst it maybe had a place in the past, yeah, I would say it's probably, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it at the moment.
After winning 2 consecutive matches, what's the change this season Delhi Capitals brought into the platter? And the second question would be like, Akshar Patel is the world champion, and what is the mindset of leadership Akshar Patel brings into the dressing room?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess to answer the first part of that, I probably can't speak too much to the change from last season to this season, having not been involved last year. But I mean, just from, I guess, the first couple of weeks that we've been on the ground here, everything's been really well planned, really calm, really clear on how we want to operate, and just quite simple. I guess trying to just simplify our game, and we've just got a really good structure, I think, around the team, and that's led by Axar and Hamang, and around Axar's captaincy. As you said, he's won a World Cup. We saw, yeah, obviously on the other side of that with New Zealand, but I think just that confidence from having been on the world stage, from having won tournaments, from having been involved in the IPL for many years. He's sort of like what the game's going to bring you. So he's very chill, very calm on the field, and doesn't mind having a laugh too. So just brings a really nice balance to the team.
Given you've not had a great time with your body and injuries over the last few years, but recently you played all 5 games against South Africa. Now you find yourself in the IPL. So how's the body holding up ahead of what's going to be nearly 2-month-long competition?
Yeah, body is good. Like I've been 15, 16 months uninterrupted now, where I've played pretty much everything. So body's in a good place. Obviously had a little bit of a niggly run with a couple of injuries, but managed to sort of find the root cause of those and fix that up. So looking at a really good place now. Nice to be here and to be involved, and looking forward to the next couple of months with this team. We haven't quite got to that yet. We're just got 2 trains in the next couple of days, and then we go. So I'm sure like we do for every player and for every team, we come up with our little plans and ways we want to operate. But we've also been very clear this season that we want to look at ourselves and what our strengths are and how we want to operate. You play pretty much every team you play has got world-class players from 1 down to what feels like 8, 9, 10. So you kind of just got to look within a little bit more, I think, in this tournament with just so many world-class players, and focus on what our game plan is. But I'm sure we'll have a look at Shubman and see if we can find any sort of chinks in that armour.
Well, you were just talking about world-class players, and now DC has a lot of world-class players, especially in the fast bowling department. There's so many world-class operators, and this is despite the absence of Stark due to injury. And when you have so many players, you're yet to get a game in the first 2 matches. So how hard is it for you, because you're one of New Zealand's premier bowlers, and not knowing when you're going to get a game because of all the talent that's there in the ranks, and how challenging is it personally for you?
Honestly, not that challenging. Like, it's obviously you want to play. Everyone here that's from 1 to however many players we've got in the squad, 20 odd players in the squad, want to be on the park, and we want to find a way to contribute to this team winning games. But equally, you're very aware that only 4 overseas players can play. There's class from 1 through to 20 odd. And for me personally, I kind of like, there's no better place to be in terms of getting better as a cricketer than the IPL. So it's not like you need to play to get benefit from it. There's still ways of contributing through trainings, through meetings, through helping around the boundary. And so for me, it's just kind of the best place to be in terms of just growing your game, whether that's on the park or off it. So want to play absolutely, but equally, I know there's still so much to gain from just being in and around this environment, and as you said, that world-class bowling attack.
Yeah, I have a question for you regarding role clarity. Like, I know you haven't got the game so far, but has there been any conversations of you with the team management in terms of role clarity, like whether you would be interested with a new ball or deployed as a flexible option across phases?
Not really, just because I haven't been in the team for those first couple of games, so you don't really have too much of an idea around where you're going to slot in. I think that probably comes once you're sort of, if you're fit into an 11 or a 12, you sort of work out, I guess, the mix of your players and of your bowlers at that point in time. So nothing really around world clarity. I'd expect that it would be some new ball stuff, but equally being flexible, as probably every bowler is nowadays. You've got to be flexible across the whole innings. So nothing sort of set in stone as of yet, but if we do get a chance to play, then I'm sure that'll come.
So you're sharing a dressing room with Mitchell Starc this year. Have you two discussed the left arm, right arm synergy, and also how do you plan to dismantle a settled opening pair when one of you is swinging in late and the other is extracting steep bounce?
It's a good question. We haven't had too many conversations as of yet. I think that's the biggest challenge, right, for any opening bowlers or any teams at the moment, is how do you kind of get guys out, or how do you slow them down in the power play, especially. It seems like for the most part, some teams just going pretty hard through the power play and setting up games through that area. So it's a great question. I don't know if anyone's sort of found the answers as of yet, unless the wicket's doing a little bit, but you're just trying to challenge them to make good shots, to get those runs if they are, and then if you need to, especially towards the back end of the power play, if you need to try and shut guys down with smart field placings through trying to shut down one side of the field, you try and do that as well. But look, that's kind of an ongoing conversation, not just for us but for all teams, is how do you kind of shut guys down and how do you get out of the power play unscathed, I guess. And we're no different, I guess, in that regard.
I would like to know about your views on Samir's way, like 2 match-winning knocks in 2 matches. So you, as a senior player, as an experienced player, how do you see this youngster?
Man, it was seriously impressive. Like, I hadn't seen too much of him until obviously his last couple of games, and he kind of, like, through the first part of that innings, especially that one in Lucknow, was sort of under a bit of pressure with the run rate, with the strike rate, and trying to get into the innings, and you're thinking, oh, okay, something's going to kind of unfold here as it naturally does in T20 cricket. But the way he could kind of absorb the pressure, soak it up, and then reapply it was just seriously impressive. And he kind of ran a similar model in this last game against Mumbai. Absorbed the pressure, and then when the matchup came, he took it down, and just it was seriously impressive. I think he's like, the way he's gone about it hasn't been, I guess, your standard T20 innings where guys just go from ball one. We've had a couple of trickier wickets, trickier situations, and I think that's probably the most impressive thing, is that it's all well and good to be able to score runs when the wicket's really flat and there's nothing too challenging, but the way he's done it against quality bowling attacks, and in tricky situations with wickets and wickets falling as well. So seriously impressive from my end for sure.
The 2026 edition actually started with 2 very high-scoring encounters. But since then, the balance between the bat and ball has somewhat been restored, mainly due to the variety in pitches. We do hope your chance comes in the upcoming few games. In that light, is it a relief that the tournament is not completely a bowler's graveyard?
A little bit. We spent January here with New Zealand, and it felt like a bowler's graveyard, and And at times during the T20 World Cup, it felt like that too. So you're a little bit nervous coming over, thinking you're going to have 2 months of that. But no, as you said, the wickets have been a little bit more even between bat and ball. We've seen obviously a couple of high-scoring games, but equally there's been some games where there's been some help and assistance. So that's obviously great for us. The bowling unit, you feel like you can go through your arsenal a little bit more, and there's something that you can, I guess, use as your effective ball and marry that up and sort of sequence your overs around that. So that's always really helpful. We spoke about it even the last game we played with a little bit of a slow nature in that Delhi surface. That actually, doesn't give us the pace and bounce that sometimes we would have liked, but it means you can sort of structure your over around certain balls. And I thought the boys used their slower balls brilliantly in that last game, and then structured their overs around that. So hopefully the wickets still have a little bit, for the bowlers. We don't just see boundary fest, but that's probably me being a little bit more biased. So long may it continue though.
The game seems to have changed so much in the last, after you played your first IPLs with scores of about 200. So what kind of a challenge is it for a fast bowler to go out there and bowl? Especially you kind of rely on bounce and all, but in India it's tend to be a bit more slower. So what kind of approach do you have when you run into bowl? What do you discuss among your fast bowling teammates? Is it a variation in length and pace? What is the kind of approach like? Just not for you, from your team as well.
Yeah, I think it's tricky. Like you said, the games move forward a long way, especially from the betting side of things. Those scores certainly trending a bit higher, and power plays especially. Usually when it's the time where the bowler's sort of in the game, the power plays seem to be the sort of easiest time to score. In most of the games now, I guess that's probably a conversation we're always happening around. What are the lengths? How do you still use your strengths? And not go away from it. I think you can kind of get a little bit caught up in going away from what you do well, and then that just plays right into the batter's favour. So you're trying to, I guess, find something. If it's a change of pace, if it's bounce, if it's a little bit of shape. How do you? I guess the biggest thing now is how do you sort of structure and sequence overs to keep batters guessing? Because I think if you're playing the execution game and they know what's coming, like you're not really a chance anymore. Batters are just too good, and grounds are too small, wickets are too good. So you're trying to play a little bit of cat and mouse, I guess, with the batters, and trying to find, I guess, something in your arsenal that may just better put them off and structure your over around that. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, like, you've been in and out because of injuries. So how have you managed to cope with the evolving pace of T20 cricket as a bowler? And also, people talk a lot about tall bowlers having a lot of advantage. Are there disadvantage also that you have to work on?
Yeah, I mean, the game's certainly moving really quick. I think anytime you spend time out of the game, by the time you re-enter it, it's moved so far forward. So you're trying to watch and stay as up to date with the game as you possibly can. I guess on the tall, on the bounce, and using your height front, it's tricky. I think it gives you a really good advantage, but equally it makes you pretty vulnerable too. So I think you're kind of trying to balance up both things. You can, I think we saw even in the game last night, there was a bit of bounce in the wicket, and guys sort of struggled a little bit, but then equally it gives length and I guess space for guys to sort of swing their arms through. So you're trying to find, I guess, what the right length is. Trying to stick to your strengths is probably me. Going away from bounce is probably not the smartest idea as one of my weapons, but you've also got to make peace with the fact that you may go for a few boundaries because it will also open up opportunities for the batters. So it's more of a mental battle, I think, just to get your head around that. But yeah, you obviously want to try and stick to your strengths as much as you can.
Hello again, Kyle. I have a two-part question for you. Like, after the win over Mumbai Indians, Mukesh Kumar had said that he had taken inspiration from Josh Hazelwood's simplicity to, execute his plans in the power play over. So, as someone who's also bowled in the power play a lot many times, how does one balance sticking to those strengths while the need to innovate in a format where batters are just keep coming and setting themselves up for big runs in the power play? And the another part is that having experienced both highs and setbacks in IPL, what does this league mean to you now? Is it a platform for reinvention or testing ground for skills under scrutiny?
Two great questions. So, I think what Mukesh alluded to, that simplicity piece is what we're all striving for, right? Like you've all got your strengths and stuff, and you're trying to stick to that. I think that's something that obviously Hazelwood's done well for a long period of time now, and Mukesh did it brilliantly in the last game. Is how can you have that strength and that resolve to hold firm? I think when guys are hitting you for boundaries, it's very easy to get sort of under pressure and trying to change and think you have to do something different. And it's almost a bit of a strength of character thing to be like, no, I'm just going to hold there. I know that's my strength. I know that gives me the best chance of getting guys out, and then trying to hold through the power play. It's not going to work every game. I think when the wickets are really good, guys can get away, but I think it's a real key sort of thing to try and hold firm on. In terms of the IPL now, for me, I think it's like the premier tournament in the world, right? So you always want to be a part of that. You learn so much. I think even having played a fair bit of cricket now, you're constantly trying to learn and grow. So this is the best environment for that, without a doubt. And yeah, you're trying to just, as I said, give yourself a chance to move your game forward. It's a platform, if you do play, to test your skills out in the most high pressure environments. It's a combination of all those things I think you said. But yeah, like I said, I think just for me, it's the best place to grow and to become a better cricketer and to challenge yourself and us as athletes. That's what you want to do. You want to put yourself in the arena where it's the hardest and see whether you can cope with it. So
being a senior bowler, do you share any tips with Samir Rizvi, like how a bowler can target him in his weak areas and what he could do when a bowler bowls a specific delivery?
Not so much. I think he's got a pretty good handle. I think he's got people far smarter than me to help him with that around captains and coaches and batting coaches. So they obviously, the batters go through their game plans around what certain guys do and how and what their game plan is. I think obviously, like with every player, if you see something or you see a window where you can offer some advice and some help that might help someone on the field or move their game forward, you're always trying to be forthcoming with that. But he's in a pretty good place at the moment. So I think my help just comes from bowling into the nets and trying to offer him some variety to I guess to help him problem solve. But no, he's going good. He doesn't need too much help from me at the moment, I don't think.